At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. I just want to get on here and make this video real quick, guys, because a few weeks ago, a brother asked me a question, and another brother asked me a similar question just a few minutes ago, right? So I want to go in on this. And what the brothers were asking me, in a nutshell, they were asking, like, when I make the comment that a man should create his own world, or a man should put a bubble around himself to navigate through this world, like, what exactly am I saying? And the thing is, you have to understand this, guys. Whether a man is aware of it or not, every single person is creating their world. Every single person is manifesting, right? Now, you have some people that are doing this, unaware of it or unconscious. And then you have some people that have studied meditation, that have studied, certain words, that have watched a recipe, and now they are consciously creating their own worlds, right? But you have to understand that every single person is creating. Now the thing on why most people don't manifest the world that they want is because they left the back door open. And what I mean by that, in other words, when I say a person should have a bubble around themselves and create their own world, what I'm really saying is that a person should have a fence around themselves, right? Not letting any outside influence come in to deter their thoughts, right? But because this is one of the main reasons why people, don't manifest, right? Now let me be more specific. Now I talk about how I don't watch certain television shows or how I don't do certain things all the time because it's an influence. And I think, in the year 2021, everybody is aware that you have to be cautious or have to be aware that all forms of entertainment you hear on the radio, or all forms of entertainment you see on television, that is influencing you, that is trying to persuade you one way or another. But what people don't understand is that all forces outside of yourself are trying to persuade you to go one way or another, right? And this is what I mean, right? Let me open up this blind, get a little bit more light. Think about this. Think about your friends, right? Think about your circle of friends. Now, I think having friends is a good and a beautiful thing, right? But this is why I have no friends. And when I have no friends, let me be specific. I have two brothers that I call like my day ones, right? And that's a brother named Lane and a brother named Lawrence. Now, I've been knowing these guys. In other words, I don't remember a time not knowing these brothers. It's been that long since we were little kids. But anybody outside of those two guys, I call them friends, but really they're associates. I really have no friends. Not only do I have no friends, I have no desire to have new friends. Now that may sound like some asshole-ish or some jerkish type stuff, but I literally have no desire to have any new friends in my life. Now let me tell you why. When you think about friends, now it's not that I don't like hanging out with guys. It ain't that I don't like chopping up with certain brothers. It's for a certain reason though. When you think about friendships, you have to look at that the exact same way that you look at a relationship with a woman. Now, of course, two brothers being friends, there's no intimacy, there's no, all that stuff that comes with a relationship. But energetically, it's the exact same thing. In other words, if you're hanging out with a group of guys on a regular basis, you have to understand that your mindset, that there's going to be a large portion of their mindset that's bleeding into your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Just like a relationship with a woman, a relationship period is the merging of mind, is the merging of energies. And the thing is, the reason I'm not into having any new friends is because I'm aware that if their mindset isn't exactly like mine, there's going to be a problem. Not a problem with me interacting with other people, but a problem with the things that I'm manifesting. You know what I'm saying? So when I say that you have to, put a fence around yourself, you have to be aware of the people in your circle. And I'm not saying that a man shouldn't have friends, but you have to understand that if you're going to have friends, that they have to vibrate exactly where you vibrate. They have to vibrate exactly where you vibrate, right? Relationships, period. And then, another way that the world comes in and deters your mindset is through media. Now, like I said a second ago, everybody is aware at this point in life that media is out to change your mind in some way, shape, form, or fashion. But this is what people do. This is what people do. They can watch a movie, they can watch CNN, they can watch Fox, and they're aware of that hey, you know what? There's an energy trying to deter my mind and make me think something else, right? But then what they'll do, they'll get on YouTube and they'll chime in to their favorite media creator, social media channel, and they'll take this person's word as gospel. I'm gonna say it again. You'll get on Fox and CNN and be like, oh, they're trying to make me think this. But then you'll get online, you'll get on YouTube and take your content's creator as gospel. That's a problem. You know, the thing about this, man, you know, when I talk to certain, you know, some of my clients, when I talk to just some of the youngsters, you know, in comment section, I'm gonna tell you this. I am constantly referring young men to other channels, you know, in the manosphere. I'll say that, right? But I'm gonna tell you this, guys, and I'm gonna keep it straight 1,000. It is very rare. Matter of fact, I can count on one hand in a year's time that I watch any of these brothers' comments. And you've heard me mention brothers, you know, in making my videos. You know, I mentioned some of the guys that make red pill content, talk about women. I don't watch these videos, guys, especially if these guys are talking about relationships. It took me years to get my situation. In other words, to create my world where I don't see any of these, you know, 95% women. It took me forever. And the thing I had to understand is that I was creating that world. So now the last thing I want to do is hear anybody's idea on relationships. My stuff is fixed. My stuff is in the order I want it to. I don't want to mix that. So that's what I'm saying. You have to put a fence around your life at some point. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to start going in a different direction. Now, before I get to rambling too long, because I can talk about the ways that the world can get inside of your mind all day. That's 3 or 4 hours worth of conversation. But what I want to talk about, it mainly is why you want this bubble around yourself. What I want to talk about is why a man needs to have his fence up. You know, let me pause for the calls. Let me show that brother. I had to shine that light for all my brothers on the square. Yep, Young Hill, Tyler, Texas, your boy repping. For all my Masonic brothers. But the reason a man should have a fence around himself is for this reason, right? See, you have to understand that, and it sounds so cliche. It sounds so BS, right? It sounds so commercial. But if your mind can imagine a thing, you can manifest a thing. Now, the problem is when you find yourself around people that don't believe that same thing, it's very hard, almost impossible for you to get to that point. I remember when I was working at my last job, man, and every day after we had, you know, our meetings and we were done for the day, you know, all the guys wanted to go out and have beers and go out and have drinks and go to the bars and all that stuff. Brother, I was never going. Again, it wasn't that I didn't want to go out, man, and chop it up with the fellas, man, see a few cute ladies, have a few brewskis. It wasn't that. The reason I didn't want to go is because I was 100% sure that the conversation was going to be based around keeping me in my same situation. You know, I didn't want to hear about how we could beef up our 401ks. I didn't want to hear about what they had going on in their life with their wives, because that type of conversation wouldn't get me nowhere. I would much rather go back to my hotel room or come back home if I was in town and meditate and read a book and create my world. And looking back, I see that everything that I did paid off. It took a little sacrifice, but it paid off. It's all about understanding that you're creating. And I'm telling you this, it's all about going against society standards. It's all about knowing that you can create whatever you want. And this is something that I've been creating and been teaching my son for the last year and a half, right? So about a year ago, you know, my son's 13 years old. When he was 12 years old, I asked him this question, right? Just to see, you know, where his programming was. I said, you know, well, what does the next, you know, handful of years look like, right? And he described a world that looks like every other young man. That looks like every other guy that's getting ready to be a teenager. You know, I'm going to school. I'll be in high school soon. I'll give me a little job, try to save me a little, give me a little car, go to college and just move like every other brother does, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I was curious. I was like, where did that come from? Like who programmed this in you? And we talked about it. And if you think about it, it comes from television. It comes from our parents. It comes from our grandparents. It's like, if that's the way they did it, then that must be the only way it can get done. And it took me about 6 months to program. And we're still working. I was like, son, that doesn't have to be your reality. Like, who said that has to be your reality, right? So I recently got my son into, I told him, hey, at some point you got to start making your own money. We're not going to wait till you're 21 and start having this conversation. So we opened him a brokerage account. He's in the stocks now, man, and he's doing, at 13, he's doing hella good, man. He's flipping his money. And I'm telling him, I said, son, when you turn 16, when everybody's going out trying to get jobs and flip burgers and dip fries, you don't have to be in that situation. You can be making more than enough money. I said, when you graduate high school, you should be in a position where you can step out and live on your own. If you want to go to college, that needs to be your choice. Hell, I don't care if you go to college for the next 20 years, but you shouldn't have to be in a position where you have to fall in line with what society teaches you. And at 13, guys, I'm telling you, he's starting to understand that. See, it's all about rewriting the code, man. It's all about first rewriting the code within ourselves and then rewriting the code in those behind us, man. It's all about rewrite. We don't have to live our life by society standards. Back when I was, some years ago, and I tell brothers this all the time, when I'm having one-on-one conversations, I'll walk brothers through my progression. I'll say, man, I remember when I was around 34, 35, I was at a job. It was a basic paying job, good salary. I had a lot of responsibility, district manager and all that stuff. But I was like, brother, if this is it, I was like, if this is my highest level, I'm like, then God should have just left me where I was, because this is boring, man. This sucks. It's I don't know why people think that it's the norm to go to school, get a college degree, get married, have 2.5 kids, join the Republican or Democratic Party, vote, pay taxes, and die. If that's what life was, that's what I was telling myself. I said, if this is what life is, then I don't even want to play this game. Like, this sucks, man. So I said, well, if I can create anything, let me create a world that I want. So what I tell brothers, I kind of walk them through my progression of getting through different levels. That my battery's about to die. And I say, brothers, you don't have to live a world that's society. So I just pictured my high level of being. I said, what would it be like, to just wake up when I want to and do the things that only I love and make more money than any career could ever pay me? You know what I'm saying? Hold on, guys. My phone about to die. I said, what would that life be like? And I started moving in that direction. And the thing is, when you start thinking on higher levels like that, when you start thinking in ways that most people say it's impossible, brother, it is very vital that you put yourself around people that think just like that have that high level of faith, have that high level of belief, or you just roll solo. Guys. I'm telling you, all I'm saying in a nutshell, without beating this thing down like a dead horse, is when you're trying to create your world, if you want to stay in the matrix and move like everybody else move, then man, I'm telling you, by all means, go drink beers with the broskies every night of the week. You know what I'm saying? Watch all seasons of whatever TV show is on. Do all these things, guys. But if you want to do greater things, if you want to achieve the goals that only you can keep to yourself in your mind, guys, you have to put a fence around your life. And sometimes that may mean you have to roll solo in life. That's it.